Although photography and cinematography share many similarities, such as the use of lenses, framing and composition, lighting and design, they inevitably are two very different mediums. Just because you're a photographer doesn't mean you automatically have the skills to cross over into filmmaking. Here are 5 reasons why photography is not filmmaking. Number 5, camera movement. In photography, camera movement is employed sometimes. Now, in this example, with a speeding car, the background has a directional blur, but the car itself is not blurry. This is because the photographer was very smart. They knew that they needed to travel at the same speed of the car to achieve that special effect. Sometimes photographers do need to employ camera motion, even if they are just taking one photograph. In filmmaking, camera motion is used extensively to follow the action of a scene, add visual context to a scene, and aid in the overall pacing and mood of a story. Unlike modern photo cameras, which are small, most cinema cameras are large and difficult to move. This means that in filmmaking, you'll often see a camera on a dolly track, or a crane, or a jib, or a Steadicam. And all of these expensive and complicated pieces of equipment are employed to move this big movie camera. A photographer doesn't have to worry about those things. They just hold the camera in their hand and they're off to the races. Number 4, sound design and music. Photographs do not have sound, but sound design and a musical score is said to be 50% of the movie experience. A good filmmaker constantly thinks about the role that sound plays in a scene. Sound can ground the audience in a place and time and add additional context to a scene. Music contributes additional emotional understanding to a film. Just imagine the ending of Star Wars without music. I love the internet. I'm so happy this exists, and I'm so happy I could rip it off of YouTube and put it into this video. A well-crafted soundtrack can completely change the intention and power of film. Number 3, acting and blocking. A photographer can capture a moment in time, an expression, and an emotion. The photographer can coax the subject to pose in a unique way or give a specific facial expression. Many great photographers become very adept at capturing unique moments in their subjects that others fail to do. A filmmaker captures an actor's extended performance. Sometimes a director can work many hours with an actor to achieve the intended performance. Actors are sometimes put under the most extreme pressure to achieve a specific performance when the camera rolls. They must be ready, sometimes at a moment's notice, to bring themselves to cry or laugh while dozens of people stand around the camera telling them what to do. Number 2, collaboration. A photographer usually works alone. Sometimes they may work directly with an assistant or two, but typically they set up the lights, work directly with the subject, and take the photos. From an indie shooter to the director of a blockbuster, all filmmakers need to collaborate with others. A filmmaker works with dozens or sometimes hundreds of people. Although each person on a movie set is usually very talented and capable of fulfilling different technical and creative roles, there typically is very little creative crossover between departments. The boom operator doesn't yell action, and the director doesn't plug in the lights. This allows for people to become very skilled in a specific area. A filmmaker is a team player and must learn to balance creative opinions from producers and studio executives, actors, and others while trying to achieve their vision. Unlike photography, filmmaking is more of a collaborative medium, something you do with many people. Number 1, continuity. Unless a photo is part of a collage or advertising campaign, there is little need for continuity in photography. Many times, one photograph is the finished product in and of itself. In film, continuity is everything. No shot lives independently from another. Each shot must cut seamlessly together to give the illusion of consistent action. This means that the lenses used from shot to shot need to match. The lighting from shot to shot needs to match. The action and performances need to match. Everyone on a movie set works together to achieve continuity. This is why The tools used for filmmaking can be drastically more expensive than photography equipment. While a photographer needs only to capture one moment, a filmmaker must capture hundreds and thousands of shot pieces that fit together like a puzzle. Achieving this puzzle of continuity is the most advanced skill that separates filmmakers from photographers. In case you're interested, here's some other reasons why photographers are not filmmakers. Lights. Photo gear is relatively inexpensive when compared to the price of film gear. A photographer can buy a cheap flash and produce the same intensity of light that an expensive HMI light meant for film can produce. Film lighting must keep a consistent light intensity for many hours. Cameras. While top-of-the-line photo cameras can be very expensive, they are nowhere near as expensive as the top-of-the-line movie cameras. Movie cameras are far more complicated because they must capture images much faster than photo cameras. Also, they have more power and image inputs and outputs. Because of this, most movie cameras require intensive cooling mechanisms to keep the cameras from overheating. And that is why movie cameras are much larger than photo cameras. Post-production and effects. Photoshop helps photographers manipulate and color their images. Movies, however, are much more difficult to manipulate. Each frame must be processed. Also, because of the compositing difficulties inherent to film, on-set backdrops like blue screens and green screens are more common to film than photography. Distribution and viewing. A photographer can work for an advertising company, a magazine, or be an independent artist, selling their work for viewing in galleries. But filmmakers must distribute their films for commercial release to the public. Although a photograph can be seen in a moment, a movie can take hours to experience. And that is the main difference between photography and film. Photography is a moment of time. Film is an experience. What do you think? Are there any other major differences between photography and filmmaking that I forgot to cover? Please let us know. We hope you have enjoyed this video by Epic Light Media. If you want to subscribe, please don't. If there was anything about this video that you did not like, leave us 2 big thumbs down. I just want to let you know that we read every single comment that comes in. And I just want to let you know that we read every single comment, okay? I consider myself to be a filmmaker and a photographer. I love photography.